Immigration, a heated issue in the United States. In today's featured segment, we are not only going to look into the U.S. immigration, but also of those throughout the Americas, including Canada, Mexico, and Colombia. Each of these countries have different policies, laws, and rules for immigration to take place. Today, you will learn about all of these differences and how they affect the people that we live with. This is The Talk.
In the United States, when we think of immigration, we assume we're talking about our neighbor to the south, Mexico. In this segment of The Talk, we're going to take you in the opposite direction, our neighbor to the north, Canada, and examine the immigration in that country. Canada is not a country known for immigration. This is because the Canadian immigration process is very long and tedious. There are steps such as health exams, if you even get past the paperwork. And if you're accepted as a permanent resident, you still have to go through the process again at the end of every year. This is why last year, in 2006, only 250,000 new permanent residents were living in Canada, which is a very low number compared to that of the United States. Despite Canada's extensive immigration process, it does not lead to high levels of illegal immigration, because the U.S. is their only major bordering country. This is why the majority of their immigration is for career-related reasons. Very few are government-related. Now that you have seen the Canadian way for immigration, let's take a look at our own in the United States. Since we have Mexico south of us, we have many immigrants for reasons both economic and government-related. In 2004, 946,000 permanent resident visas were issued, but our illegal immigration numbers are staggering.
In 2004, it was estimated that about 10 million illegal aliens were living in the United States. You may wonder why this is. Today, we have with us Bill Waddell, who is here to tell us about the immigration policy in the United States. What is the difference between permanent residency and citizenship?
Once somebody's American citizen, it can't be taken away from them unless there's evidence that they got it by fraud. Or if the person themselves renounces their U.S. citizens, which even somebody born here can do. However, if you're a permanent resident, the term itself is a misnomer because a permanent residency card can be taken away from you for various reasons. What I've seen most often is it's taken away from people that commit certain criminal offenses, which some are serious, other ones could be considered relatively minor. For example, any offense related to a controlled substance is cause for taking away somebody's residency card.
How do you feel the immigration policy in the United States could be improved?
I think there's a way to alleviate things somewhat where they give more discretion to immigration judges so they can look at a case individually, look at the circumstances, rather than take this all or nothing thing. If you do this, you don't get a residency card. So I think that needs to be changed. I also think there has to be something done to legalize the status of a number of people that are here already. There is something called the DREAM Act, which has been talked about for a considerable amount of time, but it looks like it's getting near a vote. And again,
the DREAM Act is a bill that was introduced to Congress in 2005. If passed, it would take care of the growing problem of high school students that are here illegally to be able to move on in the United States education program. The only reason that they are labeled with the name illegal alien is because of a crime that their parents committed, not themselves. This is why it is unfair to not let people who are qualified and respect the laws of the United States into the college system just because of their parents' decision. Now you may ask why so many people migrate to the United States. One reason, especially for our neighbor to the south, Mexico, would be for money. The pay here is below minimum wage for some migrant workers, but the value of money here is higher than in Mexico. Another reason to come into the United States is because people could be fleeing from their government, in which case you can plead asylum and hope to be accepted. There are few recorded legal cases of this. Overall, people choose to illegally immigrate for a better life when the process legally may not see them through. Now, over to Julia to tell us a little about Mexico and Colombia's immigration process.
Why, thank you, Savannah. The first country I'm going to talk about is Mexico, which is south of the border of the United States, where immigration is a big issue to the natives and the immigrants. Mexico has a wide variety of ethnicities living there today, one of which is American. Mexico is known to have the largest amount of American immigrants living in its borders, compared to any other Latin American country. That is amazing, but that is because we live so close to each other. There are more than 1 million Americans living in Mexico today. Mexico's immigration laws are some of the most strict laws in North America. The U.S. government is trying to have laws like Mexico's. In an article written by J. Michael Waller, which related the United States laws to Mexico's laws, stated, if a felony is a crime punishable by more than 1 year in prison, then Mexican laws make it a felony to be an illegal alien in Mexico. This is how the United States looks at Mexico's immigration. This statement gives you a great idea on what Mexico's immigration laws are really like. They are basically committing a crime even if they are legal. Although Mexico's immigration system seems very complicated with multiple options available for immigrating, it is not the easiest process in the world. In South America, there is a country with a difficult and complicated immigration system also, Colombia. People can only live in Colombia for 4 years, no longer, unless you get a job offer in those 4 years. This is why they only supply business or employee visas. They only want immigrants moving to Colombia if they are going to work there. This can cause people to not want to immigrate to Colombia as much because they cannot become full citizens without working. Most people who immigrate from the United States are looking for places to retire, so most immigrants do not even consider Colombia. A more common area to immigrate is to Mexico.
By looking at all of these countries, it shows you that it is hard to immigrate anywhere, not just in the United States. To immigrate, you have to go through long processes of waiting and taking tests. As you can see, all of these countries have their own system for immigrants. Stay tuned for a continuation on this ongoing subject of immigration next week. Same times, same channel. Thank you for watching Immigration Beyond the Borders, The Talk.